Okay, once you've embraced these concepts, the 18 rules I'm going to describe won't seem as difficult, as burdensome. In fact, in so many ways, these rules will bring the concepts to life. So let's dive into the rules. Rule number 1, never make negative comments about your ex to your kids. Why? Well, regardless of how you feel, your ex is and always will be their only mom or dad. Your kids need to feel good about both of you. They need a relationship with both of you. Why would you ever want to do anything to destroy that for your children? It doesn't matter who your ex is to you, what they've done to you, or what you think of them as a person, because it's not about you. By tearing down the only mom or dad your kids will ever have, you tear them down. Look, if your ex is that bad, eventually they'll tear themselves down. They don't need your help. And if that happens, my heart breaks for your children. Yours should too. They don't deserve a bad mom or bad dad. So don't be a part of that. Don't pile on. In fact, to the extent that you can, try to build your ex up in the eyes of your children. Now, in case you can't see that, in case you can't see why it's a terrible thing to tear down the only mom or dad your children will ever have, in case you're having a hard time controlling the selfish person within you, then remember this. If you bash your ex to your kids, if you tear down their only other parent, your children will eventually turn on you. Yes, that tactic might make you feel good for a while. The kids might even agree with you for a while. But that tactic will come back to bite you hard. Because when the kids are old enough and smart enough to see things the way they really are, they'll see you as the villain. I've seen this transition dozens of times. The parent who is good, the parent who is positive, the parent who is not self-righteous but righteous is ultimately seen that way by the children. Okay, rule number 2. Never make negative comments about your ex to your friends and within your community. Why? 3 reasons. The first reason is really simple. If you bash your ex in public to your friends and acquaintances, they'll get tired of hearing about it quickly. Here's a fact of life. No one likes being around negative people. No one likes being around whining babies. No one wants to carry your negative baggage. You got divorced from your ex. Your friends did not. You need to own it. They don't. And the irony is that constantly making your case about how bad your ex is to anyone who will listen, by doing this, you only prove the case about how bad you are. I know this divorced couple, Daniel and Kaylee. They were both friends of mine. They used to be interesting, positive people who I liked to be around. We all did. Now, every time I see one of them, he or she immediately starts bashing their ex to me. They don't have interesting personalities anymore, just venomous rage. They don't talk about politics or religion or sports or important events in the world. They only talk about each other. When I see them coming toward me, I think, oh no, here it comes. Then, while he or she is complaining to me, I'm smiling and nodding, but inside, I'm thinking, would you shut up? Not only don't I care, but I don't want to hear this negative stuff. Everyone in the community feels the same way about them. They've lost all their credibility. They've become boring, negative people who no one really wants to be around. You don't want that dark cloud over your head. You don't want that to be how your friends and the community define you. The second reason you don't want to complain about your ex to your friends and in the community is that it will undoubtedly get back to your ex. You need to understand that regardless of the pinky promises for confidentiality, your friends and members of your community are a pipeline to your ex. Everything you say will get back to your ex. And when it does, rather than building a bridge, you'll be destroying any possibility of a bridge. The third reason is that when you complain about your ex to people who were friends to you both, which is probably most of your friends, it forces them to choose sides. Nobody wants to be put in that position. I know I don't. It's so awkward. It makes you feel like when you're talking to one, you're cheating on the other one. I was at my daughter's soccer game recently talking to a dad who was going through a bitter divorce. While we were talking, I kept glancing over my shoulder, hoping his ex wouldn't show up. I didn't want her to think that I was siding with him, siding with either of them. It was way too stressful to deal with on a beautiful day while I was trying to watch my daughter play soccer. For the rest of the season, I avoided them both. So, what's the result of complaining about your ex to friends and in the community? Well, You create more hostility between you and your ex. You alienate most of your friends, and the only people you're left with are the negative people who feed off of that kind of misery, the exact people you don't need in your life.